It was like this groove to catch it and cradle it.
Dutch bathrooms, no outlets, cold water sinks, and sometimes a poop shelf? From tall radiators to pop-up urinals in the street and even a national monument, welcome to the weird, wonderful world of Dutch toilets and bathrooms. Let's get to the bottom of it.
So today we're going to talk about culture shock and doing the business.
Lots of culture shock here.
So I guess the very first culture shock I ever had in the Netherlands pertains to toilets. It actually goes to the subject at hand. We were visiting our daughter. She had an apartment at the time that was pretty old, and it had its original toilet in there from the 19th century. And it had what is called a poop shelf.
Oh, yeah.
The notorious poop shelf. Now, there's a few countries that have it here in Europe, like I think Poland does, I know Germany does. So it's not exclusive to the Netherlands, but it was my first experience with it. And it happened to be my first experience with perhaps the most exaggerated form of poop shelf I've seen. Like normally it's just like this. It's just without a water tank, and then the tank is here. And you get no splash, so that's nice, but that's the normal ones, like the one we have now in our apartment. But she had a 19th century one that was literally a shelf. It was like this groove to catch it and cradle it.
It was
so weird.
Really strange to me.
And I wasn't quite sure, like, if I was expected to avoid that. I didn't know what it was, so I thought, am I supposed to be scooching forward? I had to ask her. Yeah, it's a poop shelf, and it's actually a pretty practical idea.
On the subject at hand, it was culture shock. So the Dutch are used to it, and now we are, but we weren't at the time.
And it is a good diagnostic tool because poo can tell you a lot about a person's diet, their health, and you can tell your doctor if anything is unusual now because you're not seeing it.
Yeah, and the Dutch are very health conscious, and that's part of how you keep yourself healthy. So they're used to that.
Yeah, and now we're used to it too.
Yeah.
We went to the Grand Cafe First Class, which is in the Amsterdam Central Station.
That's the full name of the restaurant, Grand Cafe First Class.
Yeah. And they had a Delft porcelain bowl. It was gorgeous. And their poop shelf were these two repose lions with a cockatiel in the middle. So
it kind of didn't feel like using it. I mean, it was kind of,
it was so ritzy. You would look down and see two lions like this. Holding your stuff.
It's like, I'll go somewhere else. I can't dirty this up here.
So they do have something here, which called the
the
curl.
Yeah, the curl. I have not got used to public urinals in this country yet.
And we're not talking about porta potty.
No, people have no problem using them there, and I just refuse to.
If I could, I would, or maybe I got to get a sheepy or something like that so I can use them.
Can't bring myself to do it yet.
And also, there's a lot of festivals here. If you have a parade, demonstration, they'll put out Plaskraus, which is these big plastic urinals, like a porta potty kind of thing, but they're crisscrossed, and there's 4 of them. And so you have you just step in, and it's just have a little tiny privacy shield around you.
Can't bring myself to use them. I still can't.
You won't go on the go?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
And some of them are quite extravagant. We went to the City Hall urinal, which is a national monument, which is a massive brick structure from the 19th century, I believe.
They were constructed to keep people from doing their business in the canals. So in a lot of public drinking, and they were just designed to curtail that.
Because every year several people die falling into the canal while they're relieving themselves. And so it helps with that. It also helps with odor and waste on the street and all that. So it's a win-win for everybody, really.
There's still odor, believe me.
There's still odor, yeah. You have public toilets everywhere in the country. Don't listen to people who tell you that you can't find a public loo. You can go to a train station, you can go to shopping centers, whatever. You might have to pay for it, Usually paying for it means you're going to get a much cleaner place. Sometimes it's 50 cents, sometimes it's €1. We saw the Sexy Loo in Red Light District when we were filming for this video, actually, and I think it was like €2 to get in.
€2, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like almost like a peep show marquee, and so you pay €2, but you have the privilege to use a urinal that looks like this. So I don't know, is that worth €2 to you? You tell me in the comments.
If you gotta go. It's worth €2. It's €2.
It's worth €2.
If you gotta go, €2 is not too big a price to pay. That's what I say. Yeah. So.
And what about the urinal that looks like an open mouth? Do you like that?
If you know what, if it's out in the open, I still can't bring myself to use it. But if there is a public urinal that it's fairly contained and masks you from people, I'll use it.
Well, let's get to the problem of this phobia of yours, though, because I mean, if you're in a men's room, you're standing next to other men at the urinal. So why?
By the way,
are you afraid of women catching your bits and bobs?
These were created for men, by the way, and women. There was outrage. They had no facilities for women. These were made for men.
But they also have bathrooms that pop up. So they're in like public squares, that kind of thing, where there's people mingling during the day and at nighttime. So the steel column comes up out of the asphalt, and it's a self-contained toilet. And they'll be like, some of them are elaborate, where they'll have multiple sections.
It's kind of a cool concept. I mean, really, when you don't see them during the day.
When you don't need them so much, which makes sense. It's kind of like their trash cans here too. They know how to utilize space even under your feet in ways that make things a little cleaner and a little more efficient.
And the self-cleaning ones,
self-cleaning ones are you pay, and then after you leave, it closes itself for like 30 seconds, and it just jets the floor, and it cleans the toilet, and then it's ready for the next person to go into. They have a few of those in America now, not many. You're going to see more of them over here. Oh, and if you're using the paid toilets, you don't have to have change. They take cards.
Yes.
Another thing is the bathrooms, the bathroom stalls in like a public place where there's more than one. Here you have a lot of privacy. Like the majority of the loos that I've gone to, they go from floor to ceiling, right? So they're like little rooms, little closets or something. So they're very private. And when you go to ones in America, they have a big space on the bottom, big space above, and spaces between the doors and the panels. And when you work like in an office, I've learned that there are basically 3 kinds of people in America. There's the kind of person who looks under the stalls for feet before they go to the one that's free. I'm that person. You've got the people who just go along the line of stalls and push on the door to see which one's unoccupied, and that doesn't always work because a lot of times the doors are broken, so you have to be sitting on the toilet and holding the door shut at the same time. And then you've got the people, and there's always one in every office, who look between the slats to see if there's a person in there, to actually make eye contact with you. And they're so exposed. Everyone can see, hear, smell, and there's no toilet brush. Over here, there's usually a toilet brush. And in America, the toilet brush is the domain of the janitor, or the person who cleans it. So it's like locked in a closet somewhere for them to use. And so you end up like wasting a lot of water and toilet paper trying to clean up after yourself. And it's here, it was such a relief to know you have privacy. And you have a toilet brush, and you have no embarrassment, but also you have an occupied indicator on the doors, including our house. Our apartment has them. And so you don't have to push and try to figure out if someone's in it or not. You can just see the indicator whether or not somebody's in there and has locked the door. But also there are 2 buttons that you'll see in the public restrooms here. And also in home toilets as well. We have one in our guest loo, which I totally forgot it was like this. Guest loos are coming up. It's one large button and one smaller button. And the smaller button is for number 1, and the larger button is for number 2. which kind of confused me the first time I came across it. I wasn't quite sure. You know, whenever you see a button and you've never pushed one before, you're like, is the toilet, if I push the wrong one, is it going to explode?
Yeah. So it was culture shock for me too when I first saw those things. So.
We just, instinctively figured it out. But yeah, and it makes sense.
Water conservation
They're very much into water conservation here. The big button releases a much stronger jet of water and more water. So it's smart too, because why waste water if you don't need to? So one of the things here too that's quite common in homes is that your toilet is outside of your bathroom and it's in a separate water closet.
Very strange. It took a while for me to get used to that.
I like it because that means he could be in the shower if I need the restroom or vice versa. So I really liked it. Here, I was surprised that our second home here, it's got the toilet in the bathroom. But we do have a second toilet too, which is the guest loo. And we had that at our other place. We had 2 loos. So we'll get to that in a second. But the first thing about the loo is it has a sink that only does cold water. And then they're quite small sometimes. So like the first place we lived in, and we're both short. I'm 5'2". The Dutch are the tallest population in the world per capita. And I have no idea how anyone could have used the 2 loos in our previous house.
In the apartment we had in Schiedam, I'm 5'7" on a good day. I could barely fit in this thing, and so I can't imagine how anybody with longer legs would be able to use this thing.
Yeah,
really, your knees would hit the tile.
And both were tiny, but the one downstairs was really strange. It was meant to be like a guest bathroom, I guess, a guest loo, because you'll find the guest loos by the front door. Like we have one here that's by the front door. And so if you're in the living room hanging out with people, you just go and use the guest loo rather than use their personal restroom. But that one had no sink in it, so you had to wash your hands at the kitchen sink. And I'm 5'2". When I sat on the toilet, my knees hit the wall. I had to sit at an angle. And if I was any taller, I couldn't have shut the door. So I'm thinking, so really it's just a toilet for men who have to stand up to go, and for anyone who has to sit, you'd have to still go upstairs because otherwise you're going to have to do it with the door open.
Awkward with
right in front
guests
of the
over.
It's right next to the kitchen.
It was just strange.
It was right next to the kitchen, so they'll be cooking and you're sitting there, go, hello, hey, how's the cooking going?
I don't think we ever had
hanging out the door.
We didn't have tall guests come over and use it.
No.
Thank God. So, yeah.
No, we never had to deal with that. But I just couldn't imagine the scenario of any guest having to do anything else.
The times I injured myself trying to get out of that loo, I can't tell you.
But you do use the guest loo when you're at someone else's house. And it's usually quite convenient.
When we first moved to the Netherlands, our first apartment in Schiedam was a renovated apartment, and it had power outlets in the bathroom. But if it's an older building or an older development, you don't find the outlets so much in the bathrooms. So it's something that is something you really kind of have to get used to. We did when we moved to our current home. That was the one thing that we were kind of, I kept looking around for an outlet because electric shavers, hair dryers, that kind of thing.
And he loves his hair dryer.
Yeah, and I would use my hair dryer, so we couldn't use it in the bathroom anymore. So that's something it took getting used to. That was a culture shock. And again, that's in the older buildings, not so much the renovated ones.
No, and like I cut my own hair, as you can tell, and I have to sit in the hallway because that's the easiest cleanup, and I sit on the steps, lean a mirror against the wall, and shave my hair in the hall.
So we improvise now with this situation. So,
but if you don't have an outlet, that also means you don't have an outlet for a washing machine. This new apartment, we were really confused at first. We had done the walkthrough and we saw that they had a washer in their bathroom. Then when we moved in, I saw where the tube goes for the water, but I didn't see a plug.
There's no plug. There's no
we're like
electricity in the bathroom. So
no. And so I was going, did they run like an extension cord into the bedroom or something whenever they needed to wash.
And
I had no idea.
nobody told us. It was a mystery. It was a mystery.
This is something
to
we
us.
had to figure out as expats.
Yeah.
And then I saw a box on the wall with a cord. And when I pulled the cord, a little light went on. When I pulled it, it went off. And it had a hole at the bottom.
Didn't know what it was.
Still didn't know. And then when we got our washing machine online, that's when I saw that you could pay extra to have them hook it up to that box.
We did.
Yeah. So we're going to show you this in real life here. So this is our bathroom. This is the power cord. Now a lot of them do have light switches on the walls, but this place is a little older, so we still have a pool. And there's no outlets anywhere. There's no light switches on the walls. This is it. And then here's the washing machine. So you want to use the washing machine, you got to go behind it here, pull this switch here. And then pull it again when you aren't using it anymore. And the reason for that is, this is the shower that close to the machine. And it makes a lot of sense because like our shower is, a lot of the bathrooms here, a lot of the showers are step-in showers. Yeah. So you step into our shower right where the washing machine is, and when you open the curtain or whatever, the water can literally hit the machine. So it's a good safety measure actually. But we had to learn, we had to remind ourselves in the beginning to turn it off when we were done with the wash instead of, sometimes if you forget to pull the cord again to turn it off. So the washing machines and dryers here, unless you have like a new build or a house that's quite large, like over 100 square meters, you might have a utility room like they do in America, or a laundry room.
Yeah,
laundry room. If you're in an apartment especially, or a smaller place or an unrenovated place, you might find the washing machine in either the kitchen or the bathroom.
Ours was in the kitchen in our first apartment, and that took getting used to. I wasn't sure if that was the case for all apartments in the Netherlands or not, but once we got used to it, it was fine. But what you normally don't find are washers and dryers. You don't find dryers. So this was just a washer, and then you had to get used to putting your clothes on,
putting them on
racks, or hanging them on ropes outside. So again, the Dutch are very energy conscious.
First of all, we were feeling spoiled having a washing machine in our house here. We were living in New York when we came here, so we actually used to have to go to a laundromat. But we did get used to having dryers, especially big things like duvets. And so I was like, what are we going to do? Because they have these drying racks, and it does take days to dry your clothes sometimes, depending on the weather, especially like a duvet. But it does work, and you just have to plan in advance. Like, the Dutch, you don't stop by their house, you make an appointment. The stores are not open 24 hours, and so know you're going to run out of milk before you run out of milk, and plan ahead, and know when you're going to do your laundry, when you need it again, and make sure you have enough days to dry.
It did take getting used to because, in America, there's washer dryer. That's what you're used to doing. And here we have dry racks, like we were saying, and that you get used to it pretty quickly. You just have to kind of do it a few times, and you're fine with it.
Now you can't have a dryer. In fact, we could have a dryer downstairs, I think, because there's only one plug, maybe not. But you can do them. You can do stackables, that kind of thing. They rent them. They do sell dryers. But most people go without because they're expensive and they're not good for the environment.
And you really don't need it.
You don't need it.
No.
I mean, I thought at first, when you take them off the rack, they're kind of stiff. And I thought, I can't have, stiff sheets and stiff towels and ow.
But that gives way
old skin.
Very quickly. Your body warms it up, and the stiffness goes away in clothes. And it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's not a problem.
It's not a problem. No. So we got used to that much faster than we thought we would. So I first encountered a towel radiator back in the early 90s in the UK. And it made such sense because, first of all, you're going to dry your towel faster. And the UK gets a lot of moisture. The Netherlands gets a lot of moisture. So you're constantly having to combat mold. And having your towel dry quicker is a great way to deal with that. But also in the winter here, you turn your heat down at night and when you go to bed. And so it's nice to wake up in a very cold house, you get into a hot shower, step out into the cold air, put on a hot towel. It's kind of like a sauna experience, hot, cold, hot, cold.
Yeah, our first apartment had those towel warmers.
Yeah.
And they were just fantastic, especially when the weather was cold. So, yeah.
And I do know that some places are getting them in America now, but it's still not widespread. But here, yeah, you can have them either on the wall or you can buy the standalone, the standing towel radiators that you can just plug in. We don't have a plug, so we don't get one this time.
Not in this bathroom. Yeah.
No. I really liked about the bathroom experience here was the birthday calendar.
For someone who's big on birthdays, as she is.
The Dutch are big on birthdays.
Yeah.
And to forget someone's birthday would be a bad thing. And the Dutch, being efficient, figured out there's one room you always use first thing in the day, and that way you'll never forget anyone's birthday. And so everyone has a birthday calendar by their toilet. And it lists everyone's birthday. It's a perpetual calendar, so you buy one once, it doesn't have the days of the week on it, and you just you keep using it.
And I actually had to ask her, like, I walked into the bathroom and I saw the birthday calendar right by the toilet. I'm like, why is this in the bathroom? And I guess it's a Dutch custom. So,
it's a Dutch custom, but it does make sense.
Yeah.
I was really happy for some reason to have a birthday calendar. It made it feel real that we were here. We're also curious, Dutchies, if you've ever gone to America, anything shock you about their toilet setups or bathroom setups over there? And also, Americans, any of this resonate with you if you've ever come to the Netherlands, or anything that surprised you because you haven't come yet and you didn't expect something that we talked about today?
And
let us know.
Anybody from our Dutch audience, if we're missing something, let us know.
So we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're really, really close. So if you like this content, you want to keep seeing more of it, please like and subscribe. It really does make a difference for us. And we really appreciate that you're watching this video right now. Thank you for spending the time with us.
Thanks very much, folks.
If you like our content, you want to, what am I doing with my hands?
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.